Friends, we are constantly always speculating. Is the stock market high? Is there a crash that's going to happen in the near term? We're always discussing this with colleagues in the office or our friends near our home. These are constant discussions that keep happening all the time. We're always filled with our own thoughts and opinions. Is that the right way to go about investing? Is there a better way? Let's listen in after a story. Nan Ri was a senior monk, a Zen scholar in a monastery in Japan. He lived a very quiet life. He lived his time meditating. He once had a visitor, a professor, a university professor, visited the monastery, and Nan Ri was asked to accompany him and show him the place and also give him a kind of a view on Zen philosophy. The professor came up and then introduced himself, and Nan Ri bowed to him and then took him on a walk around the monastery. As they started walking, the professor started asking questions. He said, "Do you really think Zen philosophy is the best philosophy in the world? Isn't there anything else better than that? Why do you think people should follow Zen? I believe there are better philosophies that people need to adopt than Zen." So on and so forth. Over the next 20 minutes, as they walked all over the monastery, the university professor was constantly chatting, constantly talking, asking questions and answering it too in his own way. Finally, Nan Ri brought the professor to the area where they wanted to have a cup of tea. And as he started pouring the cup with tea, the professor noticed that as the cup was getting filled up, Nan Ri did not stop. He was going on pouring. Now the cup was almost full. Nan Ri continued to pour. The professor was a little alarmed. And then he saw that the cup was starting to overflow. And then he turned to the monk and he said, "Sir, don't you see that the cup is full and it is overflowing? There is no more benefit that the cup can derive because it's already full." And Nan Ri smiled at the visitor and said, "Sir, your learning of Zen philosophy is very similar. You are so filled with your thoughts and opinions that there is no more space available in your mind to accept a new thought. I would urge you to empty your mind to accept the new ideas that Zen philosophy can teach you, and then come back to the monastery." That day, the professor understood a very, very important lesson. Friends, like the professor, a lot of us have a lot of things that we hold, opinions and views that we hold. And these are strong opinions that either allow us to invest or prevent us from investing any which way. It is at this point that we need to recognize that we have these strong opinions and look at using them to our advantage. When it comes to investing, there are only two things that are very, very important for one to understand. What are one's needs and what is the future performance of the investments? Now, as far as needs are concerned, there are three buckets that one can divide one's needs. One need which we call the short-term need. This is a need where you will need money for something that you think you will incur in the next year or year and a half. These need to be parked in a place where it is easily accessible and very safe. So ideally, a bank or a liquid fund would be a good place to keep these monies parked. They need to be safe. They will not yield a high return, absolutely. Then the next bucket is what we call a medium term. Medium term needs are needs where I may need the money in, say, 2 years to 5 years time. If I need money between 2 and 5 years, I need to park it in a place where There is a little bit of safety, but I also want to have a little bit of risk so that overall the return is much higher than what I can get in a bank FD. So that's what you need to do with a medium-term requirement of yours. But if you don't have a short or a medium term and only a long-term need, then you can take risks by investing in, say, products like the equity mutual funds. Ideally, these are products where your capital can go up and down, but if you stay invested for a period of 5 years and beyond, and if you have chosen good funds, then it's a good possibility that you will end up with a reasonably good return. So friends, as long as you identified your need for investing and stayed true to that period of investing in a very disciplined manner, I'm sure that your experience in investing will be superlative. Many times we go wrong because we're constantly checking, pulling out money, putting in money, booking profits, reinvesting based on the stock market or the external environment, and that's where we all go wrong. Let me give you a small example. As children, when we were small, our mothers would have made ice creams, right? They would have made it with a lot of milk, and that liquid would have been placed inside the deep freezer. And for us to go kind of eat it after it kind of becomes ice. Many a time, many of us aren't able to control our temptation. What we would do, we'd keep opening. Every 10 minutes, we will open the deep freezer to check if the ice is set. Obviously, the ice won't set so quickly. But the frequent opening of the deep freezer, instead of helping the ice being set, actually delays the whole process. Because you're constantly opening and exposing it to heat, the whole process gets extended. Investing, pulling your investment, putting it back, constantly this whole exercise also renders the same thing to investments that we do to ice creams. So it's one thing that we need to be very, very careful of. There are various steps to being a cool investor. The first one being is that marry your financial plan with the investments that you want to make. So be it the short term, medium term, long term, as long as you're able to identify these three and put the investments accordingly there, you are bound to see that you are less anxious about your investment and its performance to short term fluctuations. That's the first point. Second, set a time to review your investments. Don't do it randomly every other day. Do it once in half year. If you think you need to do more often, once a quarter. Anything more frequent means it isn't going to work for you. Ideally, in fact, once a year would also be a good idea. Third, get busy with your work. Watching all this news and speculating isn't going to add too much of value. You're not a fund manager, you're an investor. So get busy with your work, your domain, and do better there. Fourth, avoid excessive speculation and greed. Both of it is bad for your money, bad for your health. Last but not the least, always remember, you own the money. Money doesn't own you. I hope this message was useful.